Okay, if you are a local business owner who is trying to grow your business, Facebook ads still work. At the time of me recording this, it's 2023, and I hear a lot of conversation about how TikTok is now the best ad platform, or how Google is way better than Facebook now, or how YouTube ads is the best thing to run, right? And in my experience, based on the numbers, for our clients, Facebook ads are still working as well as they have, or if not even better. I don't know why. Maybe it's because competitors are leaving and they're going to these other platforms, which brings down the cost in leads and the cost of results. I'm not sure if that has something to do with it, or if Facebook ads just still work based on the type of ad that you're running. Now, the training that I'm going to be doing here today is specifically for local businesses and for local service-based businesses. That is who we have a lot of experience with. Those are we spent millions of dollars in ad spend for businesses just like that. So we've really figured out how to build a simple strategy that anyone can do. Okay. If you're the business owner, even if you're not tech savvy, this strategy can be for you, and you can effectively set this up, and it's very efficient, doesn't take a lot of time to run and manage. So you can do it on your own. And that's how we've been able to build this strategy over just years and a lot of dollars in testing. Okay. Awesome. So that being said, Facebook ads still work. They work really, really well. You can still put $1 in and get $5, $10, $20 out in profit. And I'm going to show you how in this training. All right. So the training is a course, and it used to be a paid course. We're giving it away for free on this YouTube channel. So the way the training is broken down is in a bunch of different, originally it was a bunch of different videos for each part of the setup of the ads. So what I've done is I've put them all together and then time stamped it so that you know which part of the video is going into what. So for example, if you already have your ad account set up and your business manager set up, you can skip that part and just skip ahead to setting up your campaign, right? So it goes setting up the business manager, setting up campaign, setting up ad set, setting up ads, the media, the ad copy, setting up your form, etc. Right? So you'll see that in the timestamps below. So just click to whatever stage you want to go to. You could always come back to this training, and if you forget how to do a part, or if you have to reset up your ads or anything like that, you can come back to the training and just click to the timestamp and go there, and just treat it like it's a course, because that's what it is. So all that being said, hope you guys find value in this. There will be links below the video in the description. I'm going to mention a few resources that you guys can get access to that will help you run the ads and just make it easier for you to set things up. So make sure you check out those links below. One more thing, as we go through this, we're doing lead generation ads. All right, so this is going to help service businesses get leads, which is the lifeblood of any service business, right? Getting someone's information, their name, number, and email, who's interested in coming in. Those are the best type of ads to run on Facebook. So where there's a point in the video, there's a point in the training where we're talking about getting the leads out of Facebook and into your CRM where you manage the leads. The CRM that we reference is HighLevel. That's our favorite. If you have a different CRM, that's the only difference in the strategy, is just connecting Facebook's form to whatever your CRM is. So if you have HighLevel, great. This is going to be even more relevant to you. If not, it's like a 2-minute part going over how to connect the form to the software so that you can get the leads out of Facebook. All right, guys. Awesome. All that being said, I hope you enjoy the training, and I'll see you there.
The first step to getting Facebook ads up and running is getting your business manager, your ad account set up, and your pages set up. Okay. So we're going to do that right now. You're going to go to, if you don't already have this done, you're going to go to business.facebook.com. Okay. And you have to log into your personal Facebook page. So just click login. And then when you do, you can hit create account, and it will walk you through the steps that you need to go through to create your business manager account. Now, once you do that, you're going to see something that looks like this. Okay. Might look something like this. Sometimes Facebook changes the user interface a little bit, so it might not look totally like this, but really where we need to get to is business settings, or more business settings. So I'm going to click more business settings here, and the page will look like this. Okay. And this is where we need to be. Now, this is your business manager. This is your central hub for Facebook ads, right? And really just managing like your Facebook ad, your pages, your pixel, all that stuff. And I'm going to go into what that means in a second. Now, the first thing you're going to see is people, right? So if you see under users, people, you'll see yourself in here as the admin on the account, right? If you want to add anybody else to the account, like an employee that you want to help you with these ads, you can just type in their Facebook email here and send them an invite. And that will add them in. And then you can just add what you want them to have access to right here. So like this is my account. These are the assets that I have access to, right? So I have access to this page, this ad account, this pixel. Okay, cool. Now, the next step is to add your business page to your business manager. So you just want your business manager to be able to have control of the page, right? So you're either going to have to add your current page if you already have a Facebook page, which a lot of people do. So if you do have one and you're the admin on the page, just simply click add a page and you can search your page and you can easily add it in if you're the admin on the page. If you have to create a new one, hit create a new page and just walk through this process of creating a brand new page. It's pretty simple. Okay. You just have to put your business information in and it's very easy. Now, when you create your page, what you're going to do is go to the page and at bare minimum, what you want on your page is a logo as the image. Okay. So just edit your image and put a logo here. And you could put a cover photo if you'd like. You don't have to, but you could. It is recommended. So just upload a photo of like your team, something warm and welcoming, right? You could put a picture of the building, your office building if you have one. You can put a picture of like the equipment that you use, but I think team photos are the best for the cover photo. And then bare minimum, just add a button. So I would do either a call button or you can just send people to your website. So learn more button and send people to the site. You can add more details to your Facebook page. It is not necessary for what we are doing with paid advertising. All right, so this is bare minimum. Okay, once the page is set up, make sure you add yourself and also add any other people that you want to have access to the page. So I'm the only person in this business manager account, so I'm just going to give myself full control of the page, right? And I already have it, but I'm just showing you how to do that. Okay, and then the next step is ad account. So the page is what people see. The ad account is kind of behind the scenes where we're going to run the ads from. Okay. So you need to create an ad account for your business. You don't want to be running ads from your personal ad account because Facebook does give you a personal ad account by default. You don't want to run the ads from there. You want to run them from your own business account. Okay. So you're going to either add your ad account if you already have an existing one. If you have to create a new one, just simply click create new. And it's like takes 2 seconds to do this. Okay. So just follow these steps, create a new account. And then once again, add yourself to the ad account. So add people, add yourself, give yourself full control over it and add yourself to it. And it will look like this when you do. All right. So that is the simple business manager setup. Very, very easy. Now we have an ad manager. Okay. And we have our user in here. Any users that need to be in here, we have them in here. And we also have our page set up.
This video is going over the first step, which is to create a campaign. All right. And in order to do that, you need to go to the ads manager. So you're going to go to business.facebook.com. And then in the top left, you're going to click ads manager, click these 3 lines, click ads manager. Should be in shortcuts. If it's not, scroll down and go to ads manager. And that will bring you to a page like this. Your page probably won't have data on it yet. My page does because we ran one ad in this account. And today I am actually setting up a real ad for a medical spa. It is for a facial, an intro offer. And that is the ad I'm going to be using to walk you guys through. And I'm going to use that as the example. All right. So follow me along. Once you get here, the first step is to click create. And it'll give you different campaign objectives. The campaign is the mission that we're going to send Facebook on. Okay. Facebook will optimize the ad based on what campaign we choose. So it's basically telling Facebook, hey, Facebook, this is the result that I want to get. Now, the best one for local service businesses is by far leads. So you're going to click leads. That is the objective you want to do. Okay. Now, I like to keep things organized and I like to name this stuff. I recommend you do as well. So for the campaign, I usually name it whatever the offer is that we are doing. So for this offer, we're doing a 149 jet peel facial. That is what the machine is called at the med spa. So that is what I'm going to name the campaign. For the ad set, the first ad set I do is usually broad audience feed placements. Okay, and you can just copy what I'm doing here. Broad audience feed placements. And then the ad is usually image 1. And that is what I'll name them. Okay, cool. You can just kind of follow along with me. So that is the campaign level. Now, this is what the campaign level will look like. You don't have to change any of this other stuff. That is it for the campaign level. It's pretty simple. And that will take us to our next video. So I'll see you there. Okay, now that we've set up our campaign, the next step is to set up our ad set. The ad set is where you are going to decide who we are targeting, okay, and where we are going to put the ad in front of them. So it's going to be our audience and our placements. That is usually what is in the ad set. You're also going to set your budget in here. So I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do. So what you're going to do is you're going to keep instant forms selected. You're going to choose your Facebook page that you're going to run these ads from. Make sure you accept the terms. You just click right here to accept their terms. I recommend keeping dynamic creative off. For daily budget, I usually say start at $20 a day and work your way up. I don't like to look at budget as an expense. I like to look at budget as an investment. That belief has served me really well. We've gotten incredible returns on investment with ads. So what that means is if we're spending $20 a day and we're making back $200 a day or even $100 a day, why wouldn't we spend more money, right? There's no budget on this if we're making money, right? So I say start at 20, and then as you start to see results, and because everything's going to be trackable. So once you know you're spending 20 and you're making back 200 or you're making back $100 and you're making more money than you're spending, it makes sense to increase the budget at that point. All right. So usually I say start at $20 a day. Don't do a lifetime budget. I would stick with a daily. You can always turn this off if you want to, or you can turn it down if you want to. But I would say start at 20 and work your way up as the ad performs. So that's it for budget. We're going to scroll down here. And now we're into the audience. All right. So right now, by default, it's set up to be the whole United States. So the whole United States, 217 to 255 million people from the ages of 18 to 65 plus. Okay. So we're going to edit the location, hit edit, X out the United States, and then you're going to type in your address. So I'm going to type in the address of this medical spa that I'm running the ad for. So Waverly Avenue, 450. Did I spell that right? 450 Waverly. No, that's Waverly. Patrick. There it is. I'm going to put my address in, select it, and it's going to, by default, give me a 10-mile radius. You can go all the way down to 1 mile when you do it by address. And it's going to give me a 10-mile radius around the location. Now, one thing we're going to click is where it says people living in or recently in this location. Click that and do people living in. You want people that actually live there, not people that are just driving through, because you want to make sure that they can get a membership with you or they can get a package with you, and they're going to want to come back to your location, right? If they live very far away and they were just driving through, you don't want people that are just going to come in one time, right? You don't want to waste your ad spend on that. You want people that are going to be continual customers, right? Repeat business, right? So that's how we're going to do it, is people living in this location. And I'm doing, usually how we start ads is with a very broad audience. That's why I named it broad audience. So I just keep it pretty broad. I don't get specific. You can get specific and drop pins in different locations and do 1 mile radiuses in different spots. There are times and places for that, and we will have other videos on testing. But for the sake of this video, I want to show you guys how to set up a simple ad that gets you great results without having to make it too complex. All right. And you don't have to make it complex because, like I said, 20% of stuff gets 80% of results. So just doing the 20% right will get you 80% of the results. So we're going to keep it as a 10-mile radius around this location. If you see here, the audience size is 444 to 500,000 people, which is a nice size for a local business. That's actually a pretty big audience for a local radius. So we can narrow that down a little bit more. Now, if you are in an area, I'm in New York, this med spa is in New York. So for this area, there's a lot of traffic. So people aren't really going to drive much further than 10 miles. They might drive 20, but that's kind of pushing it, right? Because there is a lot of traffic. If you're in an area where a 10-mile radius around you is only 40,000 people, then you might want to go 20-mile, 30-mile radius, okay? So you be the judge of that based on your location. You know it better than I do, okay? Cool. Now, I'm going to keep it 10 for this first ad set. And with age, I'm going to keep this wide open. I'm going to keep it 18 to 65 plus. We're going to keep it broad because we want to get data. We want to see what works, right? We don't want to play a guessing game, right? And then with gender, this is one thing that I'm going to change for this ad specifically. I usually don't change this, but because I'm running the ad for a med spa and 95% of the people that come in this place are women, I'm going to only go for women. Now, if you have a service that, let's say it's 60% men, 40% women, or 70% men, 30% women, or the vice versa, I don't recommend changing it to only men or only women. I recommend keeping it wide open. If you have a service that's 95% of one type of gender, then I would go with that gender. Okay. So for example, this is a facial at a med spa. Mostly women are coming in for this. Okay, cool. So I'm going to do women. That's going to narrow it down to 232 to 273,000, which is a pretty good size. I like that size. And then with detailed targeting, there is a lot you can do here. On a local level, because you're a local business, I don't recommend changing the detailed targeting. Okay. 230 to 300,000 is a perfect number, right? Even if you were at 100,000 to 500,000, anywhere in that range, audience size wise, is not big enough to where you need to add interest. You want to add interest if you're running like a national ad. If you're running an ad to the whole country, this is where you would use interest. A lot of people make the mistake and they complicate things, and they actually end up limiting their ad and narrowing their potential of the ad by adding too many interests, right? Because with interest, you can add, like, let's say I wanted people that like spas, right? And then let's say I wanted people that like beauty, right? Interests are going to start to limit the audience. And this isn't actually even updating because this kind of kept it the same. But, oh, that's because this is on. So if I turn that off, yeah, it's going to start to limit the audience, right? So it went from 232,000 to 144, right? So I don't recommend doing any of these. You can if you're doing national ads, but if you're a local business, that's what this tutorial is for. I don't recommend doing it. Keep it off, okay? I'd even keep this check mark off as well. Cool. So that's it for audience. It's just a 10-mile radius or 20-mile radius around your location. Keep it pretty broad. And now this is one of the things you are going to change inside of the ad set level is placements. By default, Facebook tells you it's recommended to do this placement. I don't recommend it, and I've seen much better results not using it. So a lot of the things Facebook recommends are based on them making money, not you making money. So you can even see up here in the top right, they're telling me this ad set may get 0 leads. I've had this exact same warning many times and gotten crazy lead costs that were better than ever, right? So I would not trust a lot of the warnings that Facebook gives you, a lot of the recommendation that they give you, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to click manual placements, and you'll see by default, Facebook wants to place your ad in all of these different spots, right? So apps and sites, for example, is third-party applications that Facebook has partnerships with. So you actually don't even know where your ads are running, right? Which is not good. You want to have control over the placements. You want to know where they are, right? So I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. Now, stories is like Instagram stories, Facebook stories. There is a time and place for these ads. I would not recommend it for your first ad. You can do these as a test, but you need a specific type of media for this to work well. So generally speaking, I don't recommend doing this in the beginning. I think there's a simpler way, and it's just by sticking with feeds. So I got rid of that placement as well. And then I even get rid of Instagram Explorer. I get rid of video feeds. I've been keeping Marketplace on. That's worked pretty well. So Facebook Marketplace, Instagram feed, and Facebook feed. So, and the reason I say this works the best, and well, based on numbers is why I like to keep it on, because the data always shows that this works the best. But it makes sense logically, because this is where people are scrolling, right? This is where we have their attention the most, is the main feed. That's where all their friends are posting. That is what they're looking at when they're on these platforms. So just by doing this, you're going to save yourself a lot of budget, and your lead cost is going to go down a lot, because now you're not wasting money on all of these other placements. Okay, awesome. So do feeds, and that is really it for the ad set level. And that's going to lead us into the ad level, and I will see you guys in the next video for that tutorial. Okay, now that we have done the campaign level and the ad set level, now we're diving into the ad level. And this is where you are going to do the part of the ad that people see. All right, so this is the video or photo, and it's also the copy, right? The written word on the ad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down here. You can keep this stuff selected. And then you'll see here it says single image or video or carousel. I recommend doing a single image or video. You can leave these the way that they are. And then all we're going to do is we're going to add media and either add an image or a video. Now, before you do this, you're going to choose what you want to use as your photo or your video, right? So I want to give you guys some principles that you can follow. So I'm going to pull up this sheet for you, and I want this to be able to help you do this. So with media, the main job of the creative is to get people to stop. You're not trying to sell them anything with the video or with the image. You're not trying to get them to give you their information. You're just trying to get them to stop scrolling and to read the rest of your ad. Okay, that's very important. That is the purpose of it. Okay, now when you understand that, you'll understand what makes a good photo or video for a Facebook or Instagram ad. Okay, now there are two principles when it comes to the media that you use. Principle one would be that imperfect is better. People don't like advertisements, right? So if someone sees something that looks like an ad, guess what they do? They keep scrolling. They scroll faster, right? So they definitely don't stop if it looks like an ad. So don't make it look like an ad. You want to make sure it's camouflaged. You want to make sure it looks like a normal post that they would see on Facebook or Instagram. Good way to do this is with cell phone quality. Another way to do this is by avoiding marketing text on the image or on the video. A lot of people do that, where they'll get like a graphic designer to make something that looks like an ad, thinking that that's going to do better, but that ends up doing worse because now it looks like an ad. So really big life hack for you here. Don't make it look like an ad. Camouflage it so it looks like a normal post. This is why I found that cell phone quality works better. I put in professional videos and professional photos up against cell phone quality time and time again, and cell phone almost always beats it, which I find very funny. So that's the first rule. Imperfect is better. Second rule is people like people. They stop when they see people. So try to have people in your ads. Showing faces can really help. Okay, so if you have people in your ads, don't just put like the back of their head. Try to show faces. Faces make eye contact with people, and then they don't want to break eye contact, right? Because they see someone on the feed. Okay, so that's a very important thing as well. Now, specifically what you should use, all right, in order of importance, in order of what I found the most winning ads in, I would say number one is cell phone images. I found those to be the best. Just a normal cell phone image of happy people. It could be a team photo. It could be staff with a customer. It could be you with a customer. It could be you or your staff performing the service. But people showing their faces, showing them looking happy, that usually works the best. Is just having that. It'll grab people's attention. They want to stop on it. The second thing here would be a video showing the service. So this is another one that I would say is very powerful. This would be my runner up, and sometimes this would beat out number one. So actually in the example I'm using with you guys where I'm doing this medical spa ad with you, I'm actually going to use a video showing the service because the service is an interesting video. It's a jet peel facial, which you'll see the video in a second. If you have a service that's interesting to watch, like let's say you have power washing, there's something about watching dirt fall off a house, right? Something going from dirty to clean. There's something about watching that that's kind of interesting, right? It might grab someone's attention. So that would be where I would prefer using the like a cell phone video showing the service. Okay, the other things you can use, stock videos or photos that grab attention. Try to make sure these don't look like an ad. That is proceed with caution on these. Cell phone selfie videos. So like holding up the phone, looking at you, selfie style. Explaining the offer, explaining the service. This works. I've seen it work well, but it's a riskier one. You have to be good on camera for this one to work well. Okay, that's why it's number 4. And then cell phone videos of like testimonials, customer reviews, things like that. I've seen it work well, but I wouldn't say the placement. I would put this last. Okay, this would be my last choice. Cool. So those are the things you could use. Keep videos short and sweet. If you do a video, preferably under a minute. You got to remember the platform people are on here. This is not YouTube. This is Facebook, Instagram. They're just scrolling through. They're not there to watch long videos. Okay, cool. So check out our media library for inspiration. I'm going to drop a bunch of videos and images that have worked before so you guys can see some of the stuff that I'm talking about here. Awesome. I'll drop that link below this. Now let's get back to it. I'm going to show you, I'm going to add a video. So I'm going to click media, add video. This is the video I've chosen. Just do original, next, done. Okay. So this is the reason I'm doing this is because it's a pretty interesting service. Right. So it's a pretty interesting service. It looks kind of unique. It'll grab people's attention. If you remember, the goal of the media is to get people to stop. So that's why I'm doing a video on this one. Usually what I'll do is when I select my creative, I'll change the name of the ad. So I'll just change this to jet peel cell phone video close-up, right? Just so I know for reference what I'm using. And then as there's going to be other videos where I'm going to go over the testing process and you can test different videos and different images. And then you can kind of get an idea of what's working better. Okay. And don't worry about that just now. You'll see that in another video. So that is media. It's as simple as that. Choosing a video based on those principles and then just simply adding it in here. Awesome, guys. Hopefully this video was valuable to you. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, so now the next step in the ad level is ad copy. This is the written word on the ad. I would argue that this is the most important part of your ad. And I would say by far, I would say this is like the 20% that gets 80% of results. And a lot of people think that the ad is the most important parts of the video or the photo. And those, they play their role, right? Like they'll improve the performance of the ad for sure. But the copy and the offer that you use, I've seen time and time again, and I've tested so many ads, that just changing a few words can completely change the direction of an ad. So take this part seriously. Copy is not something that you just skip around and act like it's not important. Okay, cool. So you have your primary text, you have your headline, and you have description, and then you have your button. Okay. Now I'm actually going to give you a cheat sheet to help you write copy that has served me very well. This is what I use. Okay. So below this, you can click the link and you can open this up. It's going to be on a Google Doc. I made a copy of it for the sake of this video. You're going to make a copy of it so that you can use it. So to make a copy, just hit File, make a copy, and it'll make you your own copy of it. Now, as you scroll down, you're going to see this template here, right? Because what it says is to write your own copy, you can look at other copy for inspiration and then use our template to create your own. And then if you click here for the template, it goes down to the template. Okay, so this is the template. I already wrote the copy for this video and for this ad just to save us time. But essentially what you're going to do is, this is where you're going to place your text, right? So you're going to start with you're an identifying pattern interrupt. Basically what that means is it's a line that gets your ideal target interested and grabs their attention. So for example, attention ladies, it's time to look and feel beautiful. So I'm going for women, and I want women that are trying to feel beautiful and trying to improve their beauty, right? So this line will grab their attention. And if you remember earlier in this ad training, one of the things I mentioned was we didn't do a lot of targeting in the ad set. The reason you don't do a lot of targeting in the ad set on a local level is because you can do a lot of your targeting with your image and also with your ad copy. So like this line, guess what? If I put this as the top line, a male is not going to stop on this ad, right? Even if I was targeting men, men are not going to stop on this ad. And what Facebook does is Facebook learns by looking at who's clicking on the ad. So if they see a bunch of women clicking on the ad, they're not even going to put the ad in front of men because they want you to get good results with the ad, because if you get good results, you keep spending money, right? So what you're doing is on a local level, you don't do the targeting at the ad set too much, right? You just do a local radius around your location. And then you do most of your targeting, believe it or not, in the copy, right? This is where you grab the attention of the right people. In these first few lines of copy, this is what they see. So they're going to see that video that I did, and then they're going to see this. That both of those things are going to grab the attention of the right people, right? And one of the things that, like a principle that you can remember, or like a lesson that I learned this from, was when I learned about the subconscious mind. And it's something called an RAS, and you might have heard of it, and it's called the reticular activating system. And what that means is, the example I'll use is a commonly used example, but it's basically, let's say you get a brand new car. Let's say you get a Mercedes, and all of a sudden you start seeing a Mercedes everywhere on the road, right? You're like, wow, that guy has a Mercedes too, and that person too. Oh my gosh, there's so many Mercedes now, right? Are there actually more Mercedes, or are you now subconsciously looking for that car, right? Because you got it, or you're looking for it, you're in the market for it. What it is your reticular activating system. It's subconsciously looking for that, right? You set it to look for that thing. So you look for things subconsciously. So subconsciously, if a woman is looking to feel more beautiful, this is gonna grab her attention. So what you're doing with copy is you're utilizing the power of the subconscious mind to grab the attention of the right people. And you can do this in many ways. And I encourage you, take a look at the copy in the examples on this list, on this copy sheet. There's a bunch of different copy on here that you can look at and use those for inspiration, okay? But the first few lines are what's going to grab the attention of the right people. Now, after we do that, you want to get into pain and then benefits, okay? Explain the pain and then explain how it helps and the benefits that it has. So I say, fine lines, wrinkles, acne, uneven skin tone, sun damage, and enlarged pores are all no fun, right? That's painful. Rejuvenate your skin with this pain-free, needle-free treatment. I would even say this is a pain as well, right? It's like pain-free, needle-free. Most facials are kind of hurt. I got one facial with my girlfriend once and it hurt, right? So this is pain-free and needle-free. Now, then I get into the benefits and I get into how it works, okay? So Jet Peel Facial Treatment uses jet stream technology to provide beautiful skin in 3 steps. Lymphatic drainage, exfoliation, and then infusion of vitamins and nutrients underneath the skin without even touching it. The treatment is painless and the jet feels cool and soothing while massaging your skin, increasing circulation and leaving your skin looking vibrant and young. We want to introduce this treatment to 30 new people this month. So we're offering a special introductory rate that gets you a full jet peel facial treatment for only $149, normally $300. Okay. So let me go back. These are the benefits. Okay. And this is how it works. One important point to note is when you're explaining benefits and you're talking about the pain, make sure you're keeping it in layman's terms. Make sure you're doing it simply. Don't get too advanced. Don't get too technical. Don't confuse them, because a confused person doesn't make decisions. Okay, so make sure you don't confuse them. Explain it like you're explaining it to an 8th grader. Okay, very important. Okay, so that's the explanation. After I do the benefits and the pain, then what I did was I made a strong offer. So this is the offer. We want to introduce this treatment to 30 new people this month. So we're offering a special introductory rate that gets you a full jet peel facial treatment for only $149. That's the offer. Normally $300. I also use something called scarcity, which is a very powerful tool. I use it in most of my ad copy because it works well. It pushes people over the edge, right? It gets them to, like, it says that it gives them some urgency to take action, right? So we're only giving this to 30 people, okay? Even if they don't believe it subconsciously, it helps, okay? Just click sign up to claim your special offer. Your skin will be thanking you, okay? That's a clear call to action. So I tell them what to click. That's what the button's going to say, and that is it. So that is copy. All right, that is it. Just follow the step-by-step process here. You're going to start with an identifying pattern interrupt. You're going to explain the pain. You're going to explain the benefits, make an offer, give them a call to action. This template has always worked really, really well for me. Use this if you have a specific service that we've helped, use the specific service as an inspiration and as a template. You can click on these and you can see the specific services below. Okay, so on the sheet, you'll see a bunch of different specific services. Just click on them and it'll take you to copy that we've actually used that have worked well. Awesome. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to paste it in primary text. Nice. And then I'm going to paste the headline in here. So this is the headline I came up with. Usually the best headlines are the offer. If you have a strong offer, just use the offer. You can say, get a jet peel facial or try this for whatever it is. Like this one says, get your brain map, try neurofeedback, right? Try hyperbaric oxygen therapy. These are all healthcare ones that I have on this sheet. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste this into get a jet peel facial for only $149. Actually, even like get your jet peel facial for only $149. There you go. Keep it about them, right? So that's my copy. You can see the preview that they see here. So this is the preview that they're going to see is these words, attention ladies, it's time to look and feel beautiful. Now, if I wanted to try and get more of this into the preview, I could. I think it will, right? I'm going to do that because I think that's powerful to have that there too. So someone who's dealing with fine lines, wrinkles, acne, or skin problems, this is going to grab their attention. Okay. So I'm actually going to do that. And yeah, and that is copy. Okay. So that's our template. I'm making it as easy as possible for you guys. Paste the text in here, paste the headline in here, and then click here to choose what button you want. So I'm going to keep it as sign up because my call to action says sign up. Okay. You can do learn more. You can do a bunch of different buttons. I think you can do apply now, but usually I do sign up or learn more. Those are usually the two ones that I'll use for buttons. Okay. And now I can really start to see what this looks like. I can see it on the mobile feed. This is what it would look like on a cell phone. I can see it on a desktop. Usually it shows a little bit more copy on a desktop, right? And then I could even see it on Instagram mobile feed too. Okay, cool. So that's that. That is copy. Copy 101 for you. And I will see you guys in the next video where we're going over the form. Okay, real quick interruption. If you guys are finding this video valuable, it would mean the world to me if you could just hit the subscribe button, and that will allow me to continue making videos like this for you. All right, that's all. Back to the training. Okay, so we have done our media. We've done our ad copy. The last step of this process is to build a form, right? So after they see our ad, they stop on our ad, they read it, they're interested, they want to come in, they're going to click the sign up button. So what happens after they click sign up? That is where it takes them to a form. So you're going to come down here and hit create form. I've already created one. I'm just going to do a draft here. And I created it as a draft to show you guys. So basically what you're going to do is hit create form. You can name it whatever the offer is. I do more volume. So click more volume. You're going to go to intro. You're going to go to use the image from your ad. Okay. That's what I like to usually do. I keep the headline the exact same as the ad headline. And then what I'll do is I'll paste the copy in here and just get rid of a few things. Big thing with the form is you don't want the form to look any different than the ad. You want it to be a seamless process of them to give you their information. And Facebook's really good about this because Facebook doesn't take them off the website. So it's very seamless already for them to give you their information with a lead form, right? They click sign up. It doesn't even take them off Facebook. It just literally gets their information right there. Okay, so it's very native. It's very easy. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to paste all the copy in here. I'm going to get rid of the beginning line where it said attention, because that doesn't really make much sense because they're already on the form. And then I'm going to also change the call to action on the bottom. And that's usually all I have to change. So just click below to claim your special offer. That's what I changed it to. Okay. And then I'm going to hit questions. And if you want to see what the form's looking like, you can come right over here. It's going to have, a background image of the same as the ad. So it'll look just like the ad. This is where your headline goes. Here's the copy. Just click below to claim your special offer. They're going to click next. Then they're going to go to this page. Now, this is where you're going to get their information. Okay. You want to add in phone number. Usually what I'll do here is, who is this special offer for, right? So that's what I'll usually write there. And then they're going to have their information here. Cool thing about Facebook, another good reason why this is so seamless is because they auto-populate, they pre-fill the information because Facebook has their information. So it makes it even easier for them to give you their information, which is great. Okay. And then we're going to hit privacy policy. If you have a privacy policy on your website, you can put a page on your website with it. Or if you don't, you can even just put your website link here. I've never had an issue with just putting the website link there without a privacy policy. If you need like a Facebook privacy policy, you can Google one, and they have a ton of templates online. But honestly, I'll usually just put the link to the website, and I've never had an issue with that. And then message for leads. This is what happens after they give you their information. So they've given you their information. Usually what I'll do here is a few things, right? So it says, thanks, you're all set. I usually like to kind of do similar thing. Great. This is where I like to write, you got the offer. You can visit our website or exit the form now. So usually want to give them a call to action. Call us to book your appointment today, right? You can keep it pretty simple. Call us to book your appointment today, right? And then you can change the call button to the business number, okay? So you can change the call button to the business number. Call now to book your special offer. Okay, cool. And then just put the business number in here. And let me actually grab the business number. Cool, paste, good. And then you can publish it. So if you get this right, you can publish this. There are a few things you can do on here, which we'll talk about in the appointment setting course, local appointments, to help you book more appointments. But for now, we're keeping this pretty simple. So we're going to hit publish. And there's your form. Okay. So now your form is all good. Your ad is all good. They're going to click sign up, and they're going to go right to something that looks like this. And you are good to go. And then all you're going to do is click publish. And I will show you guys after this video and another video how to get these leads into your software account. Awesome. See you in that video. Okay, guys, so we have our ad up and running. Now we want to make sure that we get the leads into our software account so that we are notified when we get a new lead. And then we can follow up with them, and then we have them in our opportunity pipeline. Okay, so you're going to go into your software, go to settings, go to integrations. Make sure you connect your Facebook account. So connect your Facebook account, connect your ad account and your page. So I'm going to connect this via MedSpa. Connected, the page is connected. Okay, go through that process. And then you're going to go to Facebook form fields mapping. And you're going to map the fields, email, full name, phone number, save. You'll see the form that you made in your ad should be in here automatically when you integrate your Facebook. And then that's the first step. And then the only other step you need to do is you're going to go to automation, go to sales, and the new lead workflow is what you're going to update. So you're going to go to new lead workflow and just update the triggers. So Facebook lead gen here. this is what triggers this workflow to happen. So when someone comes in from a Facebook lead form submitted, in the form, you just select the form that we just connected. Okay, so select that form. So when someone comes into this form, this is what's going to happen. So it's going to create an opportunity in our sales pipeline. Okay, inside of the sales pipeline. So you want to keep it in pipeline, put it in the new lead column, and then give yourself an internal notification. So that's what this is. Change this number to your phone number or whoever is handling lead follow-up. And this will notify you when you got a new lead. Okay, so hey, you got a new lead, and you can get this so that you know to log into the software and then follow up with the lead once you get this text. Okay, and you can assign this to yourself as well if you want to. I'm gonna assign it to Kristen in here, and that is that. That's all you have to do. So now when a lead comes in from our ad that we set up, it's going to go into the software, it's going to shoot us a text, and that lead's going to be in the new lead column for us to follow up with. Awesome. I'll see you in the next video. Okay, over the course of these next few videos, we're going to be talking about making improvements to our ads. Now that our ads are running, you should have already went through the ad training, gotten your first ad up and running. It should say active or in review or processing. But right now I'm going to show you what to do, when to know you need to make a change, when to know you need to make an improvement. And I'm going to do it in a few short videos, the same way I did the ad videos, just to keep it simple for you guys. And we'll break it down into a couple different categories. This first video is going to be about just simply navigating the ads manager when the ad is running so that you can kind of get a good feel for this platform. So once your ad is running and active, you're going to see that you have the campaign level here. Within the campaign, so if I hover over the campaign that we set up together, I can go into the ad set, which is, if you remember, where we did the targeting and the placements. Okay. So you have your campaign level, your ad set level, and then within this ad set, we have the ads. Okay. So within this ad set, we have the ads. So within campaigns, there are ad sets. Within ad sets, there are ads, right? And this is the ad that we ran for this jet peel facial. Now, if you want to open up any of these to just see the details on them, you would click this edit button and it will open up so that you can see all the details on the ad. Now, I don't recommend making a change like this. Like if you wanted to edit something, I don't recommend doing it this way, where you just edit it on the ad that's already running. What you would want to do is go to duplicate, keep it in the original campaign, and then now you see there's two different ones. So there's a copy one. This is the copy, right? And I would make the adjustment to this. So let's say I wanted to do an image, right? So I wanted to see if the video performs better than the image. Then I would just name this image, jet peel image or whatever the image was. I would go down here. I would edit the media, or I would delete the media, and then I would add an image, and then I would publish it. I'd keep everything else the same. When you make changes, you want to do it like the scientific method, right? You keep you do one variable at a time so you know what works. I'm just going to discard this, but that is how you would make a change. Is you would actually do a duplicate. So if I wanted to do if I want to test an ad, then I would just duplicate the ad level. If I wanted to test an audience, so let's say I wanted to do a different radius, right? Or I wanted to do a broader area, I would duplicate the ad set level. You want to keep it within the same campaign if it's the same offer. Okay, so if it's the same offer, you keep it within this campaign and you duplicate either the ad set or the ad depending on what variable you're going to test. Okay, cool. So now this is the ad we actually set up together. I'm looking back at it. It's been running for 1 day and it is doing great. This is amazing. So this would not need any changes. And I'm looking at the results here. So you can see all the numbers here. So you can see this has 7 leads. It's reached 570 people. And the cost per lead is literally $3.15. So for $3.15, I'm getting someone's name, phone number, and email who wants to come in for a $149 offer. So this is doing really well. I'm actually very glad I used this for the example to show you guys because this is really performing. Um, sometimes it's not like this is very well. I'll be honest with you guys. This is like 10 out of 10 performance. This is all you could ask for, right? So, sometimes it's going to be a higher lead cost occasionally, right? And that's where improvements and testing comes in. And there's a process for that I'm going to be showing you throughout these next few videos. But this ad right here, this is ideal. This is all you would want. All you'd want to do is scale this ad up, which we'll talk about in another video how to do. But these are basically the results, the different things that you can look at. There's a ton of different numbers that you can see. You can see how much you spent here. In the top right, you can navigate to see different dates. So if you wanted to do last 7 days, you can see last 7 days. If you wanted to include today, you can click a specific thing and then you can do that. And these are all the analytics it gives you. If you click on the different levels, it does sometimes give you different analytics. So like you can see a couple different things here. And then if you ever want to pull a specific metric in, which I will recommend doing, I always pull CTR all in, and then I usually will pull CTR link click through in. So these are where you can pull in a whole bunch of different metrics if you want to. There's just a plus sign right here, and you'll get to see a whole bunch of different metrics that you don't normally see by default. Okay, so that's usually where you're going to do that. If you wanted to download your leads, you could download them here. This is not, you're not going to need to do this because you connected the ad to the software. So that the ad should be flowing right into the software seamlessly. And the leads will be in there for you, which makes it so much easier than having to download them on a CSV file or a spreadsheet, right? So this is just me showing you guys kind of how to navigate. If you ever want to turn an ad on or off, you could simply turn off the campaign. What I would recommend doing as you go through the testing process is if you create a duplicate, then leave the duplicate on and then turn the one that is not performing off. If this one wasn't doing well, I would leave the duplicate, the one that is the improvement, I'd leave that on and I'd turn the one that's not doing well off. Okay, if it wasn't doing up to par, up to my performance standard, which we'll go over in the next video. All right, so this is just a little bit of navigation, some basic stuff, but hopefully this is starting to make sense for you and you're getting a little more familiar with the view. Talk to you in the next video. Okay, guys, welcome to another testing video. We're going over how you can improve your ads. And the first step with this is to understand when you need to make changes. Because so many people I see make unnecessary changes and they're trying to make improvements on things they don't even need improving, or they don't know what improvements to make. They don't know when to make changes. They're just kind of running around like a chicken without its head on. Okay. So I'm hoping to be able to give you guys some clarity with this process. So many things can be solved by just looking at the data. And I'm going to tell you what data to look at and exactly what's important because we've tested this stuff. Okay, so we're saving you guys so much time. And I would say this one quote right here, the key to testing, the key to Facebook ads in general, is to just make logical decisions based on data, right? Don't make emotional decisions just because you feel like your ad needs to change, just because you want to freshen up your ad. Don't make emotional decisions with this stuff because it's just going to waste your money and you will lose money. Okay. So step one, when do we make changes? Now, to keep things simple for you, you only need to make changes if the ads are over your maximum lead cost. And this is something we've come up with. We call it your maximum lead cost. If your ads are hitting your maximum lead cost, then they are a winner and they should stay running. Because if they're hitting your maximum lead cost, you know that you can make money off of those ads. Okay? Now, because this is the first step, in this video, that is the main thing we're going to talk about is how do we know what our maximum lead cost is? Very important number to know. In order to figure this out, you need to reverse engineer and base it off of how much each customer is worth to you. So I've come up with a formula for you to use to achieve this goal, to figure this number out. And it's pretty simple. Let me walk you guys through it. So here we go. The first thing you need to figure out is your 30-day cash collected. So what that means is when a new customer comes in, on average, how much cash do you collect from them in the first 30 days of them being there? How much money do you collect from them in the first 30 days of them being in your business? Okay. Very important metric. A lot of marketers love to talk about lifetime value. And listen, lifetime value is a cool metric to have. I think it's useful when it comes to purchasing a business and evaluating a business. But when it comes to real growth and growth metrics, I think this is a much more important number to know, especially when you're a bootstrapped company, when you are trying to fund your own growth and you don't have funding, you don't have investors, you don't have a big thing of cash reserves that can help you. You need to be able to make money on your money, right? You need to be able to spend $1 and make back two, make back three, make back $5, right, in profit. So this number, to be able to know how much cash do we collect in the first 30 days when a customer comes in, is a very, very important metric that I love to use. Okay. So there's a couple ways you can figure this out. I mean, you could just look in your POS system, look at your customers and pull 100 of them, take 100 of them, go through them, do a date range. You could do a date range on your POS system and see in the first 30 days that they became a customer, how much money did they spend? Okay. So figure that number out, get an average, and then you will decide, and then you'll be able to know which range you fall into, because we've put different ranges here depending on how much you make in the first 30 days. Okay. Now that's the first step. Once you have that number, the second step is a multiplier. And we've done the heavy lifting for you here. This number comes from the average conversion rate. Okay. So how many leads will convert on average if they are buying this much stuff in the first 30 days? Okay. And we've run a ton of ads. We've figured this out, and this math is pretty strong. Okay. So, and the numbers that I have here are very conservative. I built in a pretty conservative estimate, right? So if your offer, what this would mean is if your offer is $0 to $200, typically leads will convert at 40%. That's what this is saying. All right. If it's a lower ticket thing like this, $0 to $200, and that's what you're making in the first 30 days, your conversion rate's going to be 40%, right? And I've seen it go as high as 60, 70% on an offer like this, but I'm having a very conservative thing here. Okay. So this is what we'll call your multiplier. And what we're going to do is times by 0.4. And if I'm getting confusing here, just bear with me. When I get down here, it'll make a lot more sense. Okay. So you have your average cash collected, and then you're going to have your multiplier. It's already set up for you. It's a conservative estimate. It's a conservative number to make sure that the data that I give you here is you're going to blow past it, and it's going to be real data, and it's very attainable to achieve these goals. Okay. Cool. So you know your average cash collected, you know which category you're in, and then this is the number you're going to multiply by. So now here's the formula. Okay. The formula is you take your 30-day cash collected, whatever it is. So let's say you make $900. Okay. You make $900 in the first 30 days. The example I've been using through the Facebook ad training is the med spa. Med spa makes sometimes about $900 because someone will come in for that jet peel facial, right? And then they'll purchase a package, and packages are like $2,000. So if we were to look, I don't have the actual data right now, but if we were to look, I'm just trying to give you guys an example. If we were to look and see 30 days, I'd say 50% of those people upgrade from the 150 to the 2,000. So let's say the average is probably about 900. Okay. So we probably make about $900 in the first 30 days. Okay. So that's our number. Now I look at the category. Where does 900 fall? 900 falls right here. Okay. Between 501 and 1,000. So I'm going to multiply by 0.1, okay? Because the average conversion rate is 10%. So I'm multiplying by 0.1. And then what I'm going to do is divide by 2. And this is a tolerated return. What that means is I want to at least double my money, okay? I want to at least double my money that I get in the first 30 days, okay? That's 2. That's why we do a 2, because we want to at least double our money. So with this example, my max lead cost is $45. Okay, my maximum lead cost is $45. So that means if leads go above $45,
that's where I want to turn that ad off and I want to make changes. If anything's below $45, honestly, I can make money off of that ad. I can make good money off of that ad. I could at least double my money. Okay. Now, if you want to play with these numbers, what you would change is your tolerated return. So let's say minimum you want to make 3x on your money, right? You want to make 3x on your money, then you would just change this to divided by 3. Okay. I like it at 2 because there's something that people don't consider is the lifetime value is not even in this equation, right? So it's not just you're not only going to make money in the first 30 days, right? You're going to make money after the first 30 days. These people could be a lifetime customer of yours. So you're doubling your money in the first 30 days. At minimum, you're doubling your money in the first 30 days. And this is on conservative conversion rates, right? If you do better than this, because I'd say this is almost below average. And if you do better than these numbers, this will even be better than that. Okay. And so if this were the case, I would be willing to spend $45 on a lead. Okay. And you can do your math. So do your math, use this formula and figure out what your maximum lead cost is. And then the only thing you need to look at to determine if your ad needs to make a change, right? If you really need to improve it, the only thing you need to look at is lead cost. So this is the ad we ran together, is a $3 cost per lead. That's amazing, right? Like the maximum is $45. So I don't have to touch that. I don't have to touch this ad. Okay. There's no reason to. Honestly, and then let's go to step 2. If you're over your maximum lead cost, which I'm not, that's where you make improvements. Now, if you're under your maximum lead cost, what am I going to focus on? I'm going to focus on appointment setting and sales and make sure that I'm hitting the right numbers. So for that, we have a whole courses on these things, right? Go to the local appointments course, go to the local sales course and check those out. And that will help you focus on your appointment setting and sales. And once you hit your sales and your appointment setting goals, then you can start to scale your ads, right? Then you can start to really scale this up, because if you have good numbers and you're under your maximum lead cost, that's when you want to spend more money. That means you're making at least 2x, right? With this example that I'm giving you right here, this ad can make us 30, 40, 50x probably, right? $3 lead cost. It's insane, right? So, and even if it was under $45, we were at least doubling our money. That's based on the conservative estimates that we have here. Okay, so this is the formula. This is when you make changes. In the next few videos, I'm going to show you what changes to make. And then I'm also going to show you how to scale your ads if your ads are doing well and you want to spend more money and make more money from them. Okay, hello. We are getting back into another testing video. And right now, you should have determined already if you need to make changes. Okay, you should have done step 1. What is your maximum lead cost? Is your lead cost over your maximum? If so, then you need to make improvements to it. Okay. And this is just part of the process. So in this video, I'm going to show you what improvements to make. And then once you get your ad under your maximum lead cost, then you can begin to do step 3, where you will focus on appointment setting and sales. And then you can start to scale your ads, which I will go over in another video. That's where you get to spend more money on your ads because your money is making you money. Okay. So we're in step 2. We want to make improvements to our ads. This is what to do. This is how we're going to look at data to make logical decisions, right? We don't want to just make emotional decisions. This is where most people make mistakes. They think that they just feel a certain way. So they're just like, okay, I feel like this image isn't working. I feel like the copy isn't resonating with people. I feel like the offer isn't good enough. There is a way, there is data that you can look at to figure out what isn't working. Okay. So this is the step-by-step process, making it really easy for you guys here. First step, do we have enough data? So the metric we look at for this is simply reach. Okay, has it reached enough people? And I like to say at least 1,000 people. So I'm going to look at this ad. This ad hasn't even reached 1,000 people. It's reached 570 people. This is where you're going to see a reach. Okay. So this one I wouldn't even change. Go back when we have enough data. Okay. Now, if let's just pretend that it has reached 1,000 people, then I'm going to move to the next step. Okay. So the next step is, are they stopping on the ad?
So the metric we want to look at here is CTR all. Okay. The goal should be 4%. That is a good goal to have with CTR all, and it's very achievable. Now, let me show you where to go. Over here, I've already pulled CTR all in. If you don't have CTR all on your ad, then you're going to go and customize the columns and just click CTR all or search CTR all if you don't see it in here, and then hit apply, and you'll see this metric. Okay, so this CTR all is at 8%, so it's above 4%. So people are stopping on the ad. They are stopping when they scroll. That is the first important thing that we need to happen. We need them to not just scroll past our ad. Okay, so with this ad, enough people are stopping for it to work. Now, if they weren't, so if that was only 2%, to improve this, what we want to do to get more people to stop, the first thing I would test is a new video and a new image, right? So a video or an image, right? So go back to um, our ad media video and our training on that, and test another image or test another video to get that number up. Because the first thing that people really see is the first few lines of copy and the image or video. That is what really grabs people's attention. The job of the image video is to get people to stop. So that would be the first thing that I would pull on to try and get it to above 4%. Just a good image or video should be able to get it above 4%. And then if you want to improve it even more and get more people stopping, that is where you can test the first few lines of copy. So the first few lines of your text copy, that is where another thing, that's one of the first things that people see with your ad when they're scrolling. So that will also play a factor in your CTR all. Okay, but your CTR all is basically how many people are stopping and clicking see more and wanting to pull up all the text on the ad. Okay, so that's the first thing that's important. Are they stopping on the ad? That's the first question we want to ask. If they are, you move to the next step. If they're not, you make these changes. Okay, we're going to move to the next step. Are they clicking on the ad? So they're stopping on the ad. They stop scrolling. Are they clicking through? Okay, are they clicking the actual button, right? Are they clicking the call to action? So the metric we want to look at for this is CTR link click through. Okay, so I'm going to go in. I pulled this in same way that you'd pull in any data, and this one's 1.51. Okay, so that's a good CTR link click through, and the goal should be 0.9% or above. So this is passing the test. If it doesn't, this is where you're going to test different variations of copy and offer. Okay, so they're stopping on the ad, but they're not clicking the button. So something in the ad is not convincing them to click the button. So typically, this would have to do with you needing to do better copy. Better ad copy makes a huge difference. And if you test different variations of copy, it might be your offer. You might have to change the offer. The offer is one of the most important things, if not the most important thing. I would probably categorize it as the most important thing. And if you have a good offer, usually ads can work even with bad ad copy. So the easiest way to make a big difference with this is to just change your offer and make a better offer. Okay. But this is what you can test if this number is below the 0.9%, because you know people aren't clicking it. All right. Now, if people are stopping and people are clicking, we would get to this next step where are they filling out the form? Now, the form should convert above 10%. How you would know this would be by actually pulling up link clicks. So you'd want to see link clicks. And I do unique link clicks too, just to check. So there's 11 link clicks and 7 people gave us their information. So this form is converting at over 70%, right? And you want your form to convert over 10%. So this is passing that by far. People are going to the form and they are opting in. This is usually not a problem if you follow the instructions that I gave you guys. Usually you don't have an issue with lead form conversion, but it does happen occasionally. And if it does happen, just make sure that the form looks exactly like the ad and it's a seamless process. Okay? Make sure there's no resistance there. Awesome. So this is it. This is the simple testing process that you want to use to get your ads working. Make sure you test one variable at a time, scientific method style, right? One variable at a time, and then let it reach enough people with the new test. and then start this process over and over again until your ad starts to perform better and you see your lead costs come down below your maximum lead cost. Okay, awesome. That is the process. See you guys in the next testing video where we're going over how to scale your winning ads. Okay, which is a fun lesson to learn because that is where you start to make a lot of money from these ads. Okay, so at this point in our ad testing training, you have a winning ad. You want to start to scale your ads so you can spend more money and make more money with your ads. That is what this video is about. So I'm going to show you guys what to do. So it's a step-by-step process. The first thing that you're going to do is what we call vertical scaling. And vertical scaling is where you increase the budget on the ad that is winning. Okay. So thing to be cautious of is Facebook ads are sensitive and you don't want to break a winning ad by increasing the budget too fast. So what we recommend doing is increasing the winning ad set by 20% every few days until about $50 a day in the ad set on a local level. Okay. So let's say this ad is the winning one. Go into the ad set where we find the budget, and we would increase this by 20%, which is $24. So I'd go to $24, and then I would wait a few days. I'd wait like two to 3 days to do another increase. Okay. And just slowly but surely scale up this to about $50 a day. So that would be the first step. That's vertical scaling. Then you have horizontal scaling. Okay, so horizontal scaling is actually where you create duplicate ad sets inside the same campaign alongside the winning ad. Okay, you try to create other winners that are similar, right? So we recommend doing a $10 to $20 a day budget on the duplicate ad sets. And inside the new ad sets, you're just going to simply use a different image or video and then just wait a few days, let it reach enough people to see if it's a winner. And then if it is, you vertically scale that up to $50 a day as well. Okay. So basically I come in here, I'd hit duplicate on this ad set, keep it in the original campaign. Now I have another ad set right here. I can name this, it's a 2, whatever you want to name it. And then you're going to come into the image or video, and I'm going to test an image, right? Because the first winner is a video. So I'm going to do image test, right? And then I'm going to change this to an image. And this is going to be the second. This is going to be us starting to horizontally scale. Okay. So this is already starting to vertically scale up, and then horizontal scaling is when you start to scale ad sets next to the winners, right? And then this, you could start at like a $20 a day budget or a $10 a day budget even. And this one's going to have an image, not a video. And then you will test this the same way you tested the first one. Okay. So you start to have, you're trying to have more winners. That's what you're going to try and do. A good way to reach new audiences with horizontal scaling is with different images and videos of people in different demographics. Okay. So for example, like if you have an image or video of an old female, you might use a young female. If you have an old male, you might use a young male. You might do different races, all sorts of different demographics. So that it relates to your audience and it reaches new audiences. People like people that look like them and act like them, and it grabs their attention more. So it's going to open up your ads to different audiences, which is a pretty cool way to scale this stuff. Okay. So that is what you want to keep in mind when you start to change the images and videos and you start to do horizontal scaling. Now, you can also test a duplicate ad set with a broader location or different location if your first ad set wasn't hitting everyone that you could potentially serve. So, for example, in this first ad set, we're only doing a 10-mile radius around the office. So technically, people would drive from this North Shore. People would drive from over here. People would drive from over here. So it might be worth it for me to test an ad set that's just hitting a different location, right? Or this one is only hitting women. So it might be worth it for me to do one with men, right? So that's another way to horizontally scale. Do an ad set with an audience test. Okay. So that is horizontal scaling. And then how to avoid ad fatigue. So as you scale ads and ads are seen more often, the lead cost is going to start to creep up and it'll get close to your maximum lead cost and even beyond it eventually, right? Now, if this happens, there are a few things you can do. The simplest trick is to try to duplicate the ad set and then just keep everything the same and turn the old one off. So basically, you're just duplicating it, creating the exact same ad. And sometimes what this does is it resets the ad and it gets Facebook to hit a different portion of the audience that it wasn't hitting before. Okay. And then it'll give it a little boost of life and it'll get back to its old numbers. So sometimes if your lead cost starts to creep up, this is a simple trick to do to get it going again. Now, the other thing to do, if this doesn't work, then you want to check the frequency of the ad. So to check the frequency, let me just delete this one that I just did as I'm testing with you guys. So to check the frequency, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to add this in as a metric. It's actually right here. Just click frequency, apply, and the frequency is 1.27. Okay. Now, once the frequency is how many times the average person saw the ad, right? So this is a key indicator for ad fatigue, right? If people get tired of the ad, it's because they've seen it too much. So I'd say once you see the frequency around 4 to 5, it is a natural ad fatigue. Like it's a natural thing that's happening. The ad's kind of just running its course and it's usually time to freshen up the ad. So this is where you'll want to change copy. Right. And the other scaling, I would change images and videos and targeting. This is when I would change copy and offer. Okay. You can either do a new offer completely, or you can call it something different based on the season or the holiday, right? You can do the same offer and just call it something different. That's another way to do it. Usually if it's a good offer, it could continue to work almost forever. If you just keep freshening it up, right? And you can always come back to these ads, just give it a few months to avoid the fatigue. And then you could come back to these winning ads that worked months ago, right? And usually it'll work again. So that is it. It's a pretty simple tutorial, pretty simple step-by-step process here. And I wish you guys the best and scale your ads up and make a lot of money. Talk to you soon.
Okay, that is a wrap. Hopefully you guys found this training valuable. If you did, could you please click that subscribe button so I can continue making videos like this for you? Click that like button. And if you guys do have any questions, feel free to comment down below and I'll get those questions answered for you. I will see you in another video. Talk to you soon.